So what has changed now, Jim, is that we have an understanding, first of all, that this community exists. That was step one. Step one, and this unfortunately still exists in some parts of the country. If I go to a law enforcement executive, a chief of police, or a lieutenant, or even street officers, and I say, who are your LGBT community leaders? We don't have that here. Well, if you've got a community where you don't even think you have LGBT people, do you really think they're treating them with dignity and respect and professionalism? That's not happening. So step one was to have our leaders, not just our community leaders, but our law enforcement leaders, acknowledge this community exists, that they have rights, and that they have the right to speak up when they are not treated properly. So that was step one. Step two was then changing culture within the police department. And Brian has spoken about how slow that is. We still have homophobes in law enforcement. We still have racists in law enforcement. We still have misogynists in law enforcement. I don't know that we'll ever get rid of that as long as human beings are allowed to be police officers. But what we're doing more and more of is we're exposing police officers to any one of a number of cultures. The LGBTQ plus culture is one of many, but who are they? How do they engage in our lives? What is a respectful way to address someone? What are the laws with regard to the activities they engage in? What are their rights? And making sure that police officers understand that no different than any other community, if you violate what we train you, if you don't do what we train you to do, then we are not going to protect you. We are not, there's not a thin blue line when it comes to that type of misconduct and disrespect and treating people in unconstitutional ways. And then lastly, we're pretty proud that we think we go above and beyond here in Washington, D.C. We are actually using police officers who are members of the community and allies to engage where the community feels safe. And that's a little bit different than basic community policing. Basic community policing, you throw up a tent, you invite everybody for hamburgers and hot dogs, maybe you go to a parade and you sing Kumbaya together. We're going into those tough places where the community is safe, they know this is their space, and we're saying, we are here with you, we are here to listen to you, and then eventually it becomes, instead of, oh my gosh, the cops are here, what's wrong? It's, oh, the cops are here. That's Brett, that's Nicole, that's Jim. When you've changed that dynamic and people actually welcome you as police officers into their community or acknowledge that you are members of the community, that's when you can do a better job, because it's all about preparing for that crisis and that trauma in the community so that you gain cooperation and things go more smoothly when that crisis occurs.